Getting recorded?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start then. So the first question is like a baseball game. You're what do you say? You are now a baseball game pointer recorder, and a list of strings are given, and each of the string will have four types of functions. First one is your integer, one round score, which directly represents the number of points you would get in this particular round. Then plus stands for, it represents that the points you get in the round are the sum of the last two valid rounds. And D represents the point you get in this round, which are double data of the last valid round points. And C is your representing the last valid rounds point you get, which are invalid and should be removed. So these are the rules for that. And each round's operation is permanent and can have an impact on the round before and the round after. We need to return the sum of the points that we could get in all this. So if you look at this example, so you could get 5 points here. If you see, corresponding to this, you'll have 5. Then this is 2. So to the previous last rounds, you'll take 5 plus 2, 7. And since first operation is like, if you see C, what it represents, like represents the last valid rounds point you get were invalid. Yeah, so will be removed. So 5 will, the rounds 2's data was invalid, so out of 7, 2 will be removed, we'll get 5. And again you can get, corresponding to D, they are saying represent the points you get in this round are double the data of last valid. So last you had 5, so you'll have 10 points, and so the total sum will be your 15. And again, if you look at plus is your, it represents the points that you get in this round are the sum of last two valid points, which is sum of this 15 plus 15, 30. Same goes for the second example. It's just here. Yeah, any queries here?
So in when you get plus,
Yeah,
so when you get plus, actually you add the last two round values, right?
exactly. Yeah. The
So
sum of the yeah.
right. So that will also be one round, right? So now in the fourth round, when you are saying plus in
Yeah.
the example one,
Hmm.
so your points are 15 calculated there, right?
Plus yeah.
So yeah, if you have another plus, it means we will be taking this 15 as 1 point, okay, and then the previous one was 10, so that will be 25, correct?
20. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more of a rule based. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you need
Yeah.
to keep track of the last two value and the current value, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we have to keep track of everything, I would say, because the reason why I'm saying is if we have n number of rounds, and then we have all C's after that, right? So we might have to remove everything.
Yeah, represent last valid rounds you get. Yeah. In that case.
Okay.
Represent the last valid round, then you will get invalid. Yeah.
So you have, if you have multiple C, then you keep remove it one by one.
Yeah, it seems so.
Yeah.
Could you have more C than necessary?
Pardon?
If you don't have any rounds, you cannot have an invalid one, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That is what I think.
You don't have any points on
But
it.
you never know. In such things, it might be something crazy. Yeah, we might have to check for some corner cases. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Any code?
for me, it looks very simple, like parsing all the inputs and
Exactly.
looking for all these operations, like you have that C, D, and plus as a separate, and then others will be converted to integer, and then actually use some data structure, pushing all those rounds or
Yeah.
storing it somewhere. Yeah. And then every time either you have something like a map, a array or something like that, you keep on storing, and then have a pointer to the last one. And as and when required, actually move the pointers, something like that, right?
Yeah,
Maybe we
yeah.
can use a stack.
Yeah, stack sound reasonable.
Yeah, stack might be a good option too, right? So, yeah, is it like someone has worked on this? I want
Yeah, somebody wants to share the code.
or even can explain,
Yeah.
So I did not work on it, but I was just looking at this problem. I thought like we can use a stack. Like when we get a number, like 5, we can push it to the stack, and 2 we can push it to the stack. And when we find C, C is represents like you can remove last element, whatever you have it in the stack. And when you have D, D actually doubles the last valid. So the last valid is 5 in the stack. So you add it to the sum, which is 10. And now you have a plus sign. So plus is again so when at a plus sign, I think you have 5 and 10 in the stack. So you add those are the last 2 valid entries, and you add those last 2 valid entries to the sum. So you get answer 30.
yeah, that makes sense.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I am new to this SD skills. Yesterday only I saw. So I saw that every day 3 questions are posted, right? And there will be a Zoom video session, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked at the questions. So in this question, can I tell you about my approach?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Do you want to share your screen?
Screen, yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, he'll
Share
have
it.
to share it. Yeah. Go.
Yeah, sure.
Just 1 second. Maybe first I will tell you about my approach. It's
problem.
just so as we know that in this case it can be an integer C, D, or any whatever mentioned, and it depends on the previous points also, right?
Mhm.
Like and we have to for the present round we have to add according to whatever it said, right? According to previous points, some says that previous 2 valid points, some of the last 2 valid points. So I just maintained a list and store the values every time, so that and whenever we find something and we get the last element from it, like last 2 valid points, so we can get the list length of size minus 1 value and length of size minus 2 value. So we can get the sum of last 2 valid points. And suppose if the character is C, so I just popped it and store the value of the pop element and minus the sum, because it is invalid, right?
Right.
And same for other characters as well. So it was like just a stack or a list, you can say. Mainly we can say the list I used for. So it took me order of n space complexity as well. So I don't know if we can reduce it further or not.
Yeah. So you're saying a list will be like a doubly linked list, right?
No. List means
Normal
simple.
list.
Normal list.
Yeah.
And because we are not we are just appending at the last, right? In the points, which is an array, which is a list, we are just appending every time whatever the score is. So it's an order of 1 complexity for just appending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the list we can append it in order of 1, so it's not needed, like list is only sufficient. But I'm thinking if we can further reduce it or not, the space complexity.
No, less than
we
that, I
can
don't.
we can do it in constant space. If you see that we
Is it?
just need the last 2 element.
I doubt if we can do in constant space because we have that C operation, and that might be because as we discussed, Leon was saying, if you have multiple C's, so you have to go all the way down. So we might have to use some data structure, like he was talking about list or maybe stack. Someone was talking about stack. Something we have to use, but only the list. What I was maybe interesting to watch how it is implemented, because I was wondering how could you come with the plus operation, because you have to go back twice, right, for the two elements. So if it's a single linked list going back, I'm not sure how.
No, normal list. I mean array list. Normal
Okay.
like.
Oh, array list. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like I'm passing through this, what do you say, whatever input is there, I'm checking according to the operation. If it's C, so they are telling represent the last valid route point. So you pop it from the back of the list, remove it. And if you go for a D, like what they are saying, represent the point that you get in this round, which will be doubled. So the last point you take, convert to integer and then just double it. Coming to plus, you just append the minus one last and the second last, two last combined. Otherwise, just append the integer part of it to the stack.
I have one question. Like
Yeah.
suppose in the second case, first case I get something, and in the second case I get plus. Second round, you can say that. So it is the sum of last two valid. But if I get it in the second place, the only thing which will be valid is only the one, right?
Minus one, yeah.
So
minus two won't be there. That is what you're saying.
Means in the second round only I get plus, but in the plus it is said that you have to add the last two valid points, but we will get only one valid point before that, right?
I got you. Yeah.
So what to do in
This case is there for that.
Okay.
The last points dot append interfix that whatever last is there, just to take it.
Oh, okay. Means if suppose I get plus on the second, and in the first I get 5 points, so I will just add 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or what I thought was,
because it will go beyond your array, like minus 2 you won't be able to access it.
Yeah. Sure. So we have to only take that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That will be an invalid case, I think, as per the baseball rules. You will have to have something to add, right? At least two values to add.
Yeah, but
so
in the
maybe they're assuming. Yeah, what you say is a very good point, valid point. We might have to ask this to the interviewer.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good question to ask.
Yeah.
I guess.
But I would assume, because I was looking at this notes section also, they have mentioned like that. So I would say that is a good thing what you brought. Yeah, but I would do that. And yeah, if you just use a single value, it won't work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, since we are talking about that node section, so here my take here that in the difference between the real interview and the solving the problem on the lead code, the big difference is that we are used to actually see that the function signature.
Yeah.
But in real interview, so we will not get that information up front. So we have to figure it out everything by ourselves.
Even they don't give the example, I think. They won't give you the examples also. That also you have
they may give you a very, very ambiguous example, which will not tell you the edge cases.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the in real interview, so that is the main problem we may get. So we have to prepare according to that.
Yeah, that's the drawback of lead code, like.
Yeah, actually, for that, that is what actually Gaurav was also saying. I think someone said in the chat also. Ashwini said, right?
Yeah, Ashwini,
Yeah, so we should actually, do a whiteboard session, at least for the problem statement. You have to understand it. And maybe try to see if that was, so then we'll get more inputs, and then we can come to the function signature and then talk about it. That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, from next time we'll switch to that.
We should. So, Siddharth, do you have something to share? You would like to share?
Actually, one second. I have to see. One second. Just 1 second. Actually, I'm opening this on different. 1 second. Maybe we can continue, I guess.
Okay,
I have to open. Yeah.
No problem,
because this was not such a tough question. I guess it's a easy.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's okay, but
For us,
Okay.
everything is tough now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can proceed to next. So any queries further in this?
So if we use a stack way, like implementing in a stack, I think someone was talking about. So we
It's a
might,
stack only, I think, what I've used.
oh, yours is a stack, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, only thing, if you have a plus, usually I don't understand this Python stacks, but what I would do is I would look at if the stack is empty or not in most of the cases, and take that as a condition. If I see something like a plus, and if I have a single value, right? So I would say if the stack is empty, okay, then I do actually look for the two values, if the two values are really present or not. If they are not present, if only single value is present, I don't do any calculations. I just move on,
Move.
right? Because if it's a stack, I keep on removing two elements and then add them and pop in, right? Something like that. So I won't do that operation at all, unless and until I don't have those two values complete.
Elements.
So maybe some
value.
corner cases to take care of and just impress the interviewer, something like that. Just I thought
Yeah.
about it, and therefore just wanted to share. Yeah. Anyway, everyone does that in the coding, but just to show that we know and we care about it, that's important too.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, one more question. So here, session you're trying the Python list negative indexing, so we got it. But in if we are using the real stack, then we need to pop the first element and store it in a temporary variable, and then we need to
Variable.
pick the top, and then we need to push it back, right?
Yeah. Here in stack list both seems to be same in Python. Like in list
can
also
use
you
like
can do the
yeah, but if it is real stack, we can only pick into the top object, so we need to pop it and store it in a temporary variable, and then look into the next top and do that.
variable. Yeah. I think C++ or Java you might have.
Yeah. So I was thinking, suppose plus operator means like it's not two elements, it's more than two elements, like 5 or 10 elements. Then stack won't be the best possible data structure, right?
So, but plus will be only for the last two elements every time.
Yeah, but assume like plus can be a plus 1, plus 2, plus 5, plus n. Then we need to add the last n elements. If the question is in that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then I don't think stack will do that.
Then you have to use I think variable.
Then you'll have to use the least way only, right?
I think list is better than a stack here.
Yeah, because there you can dynamically create and pop or whatever.
Yeah, you don't need to pop in case of plus.
Plus, yeah. No, we need to pop no last two. Not pop, like take the last two. But how will you take if it is singly linked list back two elements?
Then
you can just change the size, delete those nodes.
Yeah, the problem happens when you have a C, So yeah, you have to again go back and then override all the values. Yeah, that also works.
One more thing I want to share, tell you about this code. We can still optimize, I guess. See, when we are using for X in ops, right?
Yeah.
So in your case, you are after the for loop ends, you are returning the sum of points, which is good. But we can use sum equal to 0 first, and in the for loop only we update the sum, so that we if we do like that, it's only take one iteration. And in this case, in your case, it is taking two iteration, because returning sum of points will also take order of n again.
Yeah.
Am I right, I guess?
Yeah. Internally it will take order of n.
Yeah. So we can still optimize it, right? Means we can only go one loop. Means for X in ops, we can initialize one variable sum equal to 0, and in there in the loop only we update the sum, so that we don't have to
sum plus.
Yeah. Sum plus equals to.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, one
Yeah.
pass will be there.
Yeah, means it will be little bit more optimized than this. The space and time complexity will be the same, but the number of iteration will only be one. But in your case, I guess the number of iteration will be two, right? Because we are going through
Two
loop
pass.
one
Yeah,
time and then again sum of points. It doesn't matter,
yeah.
but yeah, just to optimize.
Yeah, that's correct.
No, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
could we
we
move to
can
the
switch.
next problem?
Yeah.
Let's move
Definitely,
here.
yeah.
Let's time check.
So it's a reason cut by slashes. No, n cross n grid is given, which is composed of 1 cross 1 squares, and each of 1 cross 1 either have backslash, front slash, or a blank space. These are the characters which would divide your square into contiguous regions. And note that backslash characters are skipped, so this is represented as double slash, and return the number of regions. So if you see here, these two slashes are, if you append these two, then it will divide your regions into two, right? Because it's a 2 cross 2 grid. So number of regions it is dividing into 2 cross 2. And if you go for this, it's only 1. So it will only cover half out of this 2 cross 2 grid, only half of the portion it is covering. So you are not able to divide the regions into any. It's entire one region only. And coming to this, so we are skipping first one, and then this V separate you'll get, and here second one and skipping the second. So you'll be able to divide it into 4 regions. And same if you go here, first you take this and the below one, and then skip the second one and take the inverted, what do you say, normal V. So here you'll be able to divide it into 5 regions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again here you can see 3. Yeah. Any queries here or approach?
Can you show me the last example? Last one?
Last one, yeah. So they are taking this will take.
Not that
Oh,
one.
sorry, fifth. Sorry, fifth. Yeah. So
Okay, this is not
this
escape.
one. Pardon?
I thought it is escape character. It is not escape.
No. Yeah. This entire 2 is used.
Okay.
Mhm.
Why not? Why don't we use the in the? Can you go to second example? Yeah. Why don't we? Can still use, right? This one we can divide into two, right?
No, but only one you have slash, right?
Yeah, we have
So
slash one. Why don't we do like example fifth or fourth we have, right? Even if you have one slash, we're able to.
No, but it was a different
No,
location.
yes. Yeah, location. Different location in the sense?
So there is a 2 by 2 grid. So the first slash start at the 1. And in
It was at
example 2,
0, 0, yeah.
yeah, in example 2 to start at 2.
Oh, it started two.
Yeah, there is a space. You see, there is a space in front of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the first input, space and then forward slash.
Okay. Can you go to
Oh,
fourth
yeah.
one, second and fourth? Not fourth one. Fifth one. Yeah, here. If you see,
Yeah.
what is the see first line?
So there are 2 slash in the first input, right?
Okay.
2 forward
Yeah.
slash. So the
0,
first will
0,
is
0, 1 location they have slash.
yeah, first will be for the 1 and the second is for 2. So it's a 2 by 2 grid, right?
Okay.
The second one is this, the top, and the
Oh,
first
okay.
one is at the bottom diagonal.
Okay. I thought we can do this.
Yeah, no. So the first line is that it has two forward slash. So first forward slash is the top one, and the
Okay,
second.
2 slash represents the diagonal, right?
Why don't you draw it
no.
in that notepad? It will be more clear. Just pick this input.
My question was, even if you have one, why can't we divide it into two spaces? Like, so for the second slash, what we did.
Let's discuss. Actually, he's drawing it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's take both the examples.
I think.
Because this problem is very confusing to understand, and also
Yeah.
during implementation, it is very.
So these 2 slashes, like one this will be up to here, and the second slash will be
Yeah,
like
what
this.
do draw a grid first, like 2 by 2
Okay,
grid.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be like this one, right?
Yeah.
So first slash will divide this one, and second will be like this. So this is, and after that what you're having is single slash. So this is like this. Don't,
My
yeah.
interpretation is different.
Yes, eh?
So my interpretation is that when you have the two forward slash, so first forward slash will go in the first box and second forward slash will go in the second box of the first row.
Right.
So here you are telling first one.
Yeah,
this
but
one.
he did draw it differently, but what you say
Like
makes
this.
sense.
If
It
you
is
No,
do
correct.
like this,
output will be same, but how I interpreted that and that you
Yeah.
have to.
Okay.
yeah. Even if you
Yeah,
have only
order makes
one
sense.
line, why can't we do like this? The third picture, what you draw, if you do like this, it will still divide into these two, right? That is my question.
Well, actually, Shashank, when you are drawing, you draw the first slash only in the 0, 0 position, and then the
Okay.
second slash in the 0, 1, and the third slash in the 1, 0 position. So that will actually clear that
Oh,
out.
first
Okay.
this,
That
this,
makes
and
sense.
then this, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, you
And
can
this is the
mention.
third one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
then
correct.
it makes sense. Okay.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. How to proceed?
So I think there are many ways to do this problem, right? At least a couple of ways.
Yeah.
So I was thinking the very easiest way to do is the DFS way,
Okay.
right? Means that is what at least I thought. But if you, even I went through the discussion section to find out all those, whether they are,
Union find. Yeah.
yeah, everywhere it comes to union find only. But
Yeah.
DFS is very intuitive, but there are some corner cases you need to handle in the DFS.
Actually, yeah, I only know
DFS,
DFS only, means I don't know union find. So if it's using union find, then it will be good if you can explain the concept and all. Like I don't know union find concept for graphs. So yeah.
so
I think they
DFS,
have to.
you count the number of island, or
Right.
how does it work?
Right.
So
you,
for DFS, how you define the boundary?
so what I did, can I just share my notepad,
Sure.
to explain?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
But frankly, it is not a very good, what you say. Can you see my notepad?
Yeah. Sure.
The DFS approach, actually, the time wise, as per the lead code, is more. It takes more time than the DSU, but at least it gets accepted. So what I was trying to do, if we have this 2 by 2 grid, right, and then if I have one slash over here and one slash over here, so what I would do is I would create a 2 by 2 array, a 2D array with a boolean as what you say type. And I will set these ones as false, actually everyone as false, and again iterate through. Wherever I find a slash, I'd make it true. Okay. So then I start my DFS looking for wherever they are false. And then I find this, okay, this is the first island. Then I just skip these. Okay. Then I go here. I find this one. This is the second island. Okay. So if I have a bigger one, like this one, which has more a number of cells. Okay. So in that case, it is very good. It picks up one, this is one island, this is one island. So, but coming back to this guy, when it is, in this case, like if I have something like this, okay. So then I cannot do anything in DFS, because here actually I don't find any islands, because I was using this one, like having this T wherever there is slash, I was just making them true. So in this case, I thought, okay, maybe use some corner cases. Okay, so if I have all of these slashes like this, then I make, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the way it is. But then I came to know, okay, if I have slashes like this instead of this, just inverted, then I have a different number of combinations. Okay, so there might be different ways also. Then if you have something like this and these ones, the other, you know, the one what we were discussing in example 5, so then it would be a problem.
So in this case, within the same cell, you could have 4 possible value, right? How do you identify, you know, which one is true, which, you know, within the same cell, which one, you know, is.
So what are you trying to say? Okay. Okay,
two diagonals, I think is saying, right?
Okay, maybe I'll just have a new one.
Yeah, new one you can have. That is.
Okay. So Leon, so what are you trying to say? If I have, you just want me to draw a single 2x2 grid?
Yeah, he's telling 2 diagonals if you have in one cell.
So yeah, draw like that, and you have like within the first cell, you have 1 forward slash and 1 backward.
In the same cell?
Yeah. Is that possible?
No.
That's not possible.
Because it's in a string, right?
Yeah.
So that's not possible. So
yes.
the thing what I was trying to say, if I have like this, you know, if there are all 4, and even if I say it's a corner case or some special case, and okay, I try to say, okay, this is 1 island, this is 2nd island, this is 3rd island, 4th island. Okay. But if these were inverted like this, then I have like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, and 5. So then I have to take another special case saying, okay, if I have all these things, you know, but then there might be another case where you have like the example 5. Okay. In this example 5, you have like this, right? So you have 1, 2, and 3. So it will be like impossible, you know, to keep on looking for many special cases. So I found in the session, you know, there is a different way of doing this, and someone had done that. So I thought maybe do that way and share it over here also. So what that person has done, he says, okay, you have this particular cell, right, in here. So he said, you know, instead of having 2x2 2D array, you know, now your n is equal to 2, correct? So what we can do is we can create an array of n multiplied by 3, okay, and n multiplied by 3. So why 3? Because you actually add 3 by 3 for each and every cell like this here. Okay, so if you add 3 by 3, yeah, it is going to consume some space. Okay, so if you had 3 by 3 here, and then now when you have such slash, you know, so you mark this position, this position, this position. So you mark this position, this position, this position. So you have all these empty cells over here, and then you can actually easily go and find your DFS. No. So even in this case also now, because in the earlier one, there were no empty cells, so you could not run a DFS and find what the islands were, correct? Because I was considering all the empty cells to be, if they are connected, to be an island. So then if you run it, but only thing is the down part is you will have to have a array of n by 3. So you are actually increasing 3 by 3, you know, size of the array. So space will be slightly more. But I was doubtful whether it will get accepted, and it got accepted in LeetCode. Yeah, but it was not the efficient way of doing it, but actually it worked. So I'll just quickly share my code. So maybe you guys understand it. Yeah, so this is the DFS approach. So what I do is I have our function signature here. So I just, okay, yeah, I don't need to actually calculate m, but n and m are same always. So I just have these two variables defined as rows and columns. They are the member variables. Okay, and then I create a vector by vector, two-dimensional vector of type bool, okay, as a widget. And then actually go through this because I need to actually, you know, uh, actually create an array with, if there is slash, you know, so I need to mark those particular cells true. So in this case, actually the first cell, whenever I see this value, so whenever I will go and mark the first row and the third column as true. And then the middle element, like the first row, the second row and the second column element as true, right? And then again go for the other side. So if it is a forward slash, or if it's a backward slash, I just have to mark it the other way. So the way I was showing that. So now I have a normal, if I run a normal DFS, then I will get the values. The answer will be the number of islands. And I run the DFS over here. So it's the simple DFS. Okay, I just pass this array and whatever the cell indexes are, and go through each and every coordinates and then run this. This is the normal DFS, right?
Template.
Yeah. So the only special thing about it is you actually create this array, which consumes more space, but because the earlier one I couldn't get any empty spaces to form an island, so now I get empty spaces, so I can count the number of islands. So that works for each and every test case. Okay, but if you look at the submission, it is like I get 44 milliseconds, but for the DSU it goes for an 8 milliseconds something. So it's not a very good option, a solution, I would say still. Yeah, sorry.
This extra space is, I guess, like it's good, but it's difficult to think on your own. Means creating this extra space, right?
Right, absolutely.
Like means I don't know how to solve this efficiently, or means without even looking at the discussion or something like that. I don't know. Means
yeah,
it was difficult to think of creating some. I know, like, to create the spaces you are creating this so that you can mark true and false, and you can get some empty spaces, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Santosh.
Yeah.
So if you can do this by dividing each cell into 3 by 3, can't you do the same thing by dividing the each cell into 2 by 2?
Yeah, that might be possible, but I think there is some reason what it has been done.
Yeah. So that's what I could get my head around. Why we need 3 by 3? Why can't we do it with 2 by 2? Because in both forward and backward slash, anyway the center cell of each cell is anyway true. So we just need 2 by 2 itself, I think.
Should be possible, because I think the DSU way though someone has done, and I actually worked on that same. So it is, they are using it 2 by 2. So maybe I didn't try it actually, because this worked and I thought, okay, DF is still clumsy, but I just wanted to make it workable solution. So, but what you say makes sense. When I'm done with our call, I will try once again and see if it works for 2 by 2.
Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
No problem.
If you do it 2 by 2, how would you represent the reason? So let's say if you have forward slash, then the corner, you only represent the corner as like true or false, right? Can we share the...
For forward, it will be 0, 1 and 1, 0 are true, and backward it would be 0, 0 and 1, 1 are true.
So if I have like this, okay, Leon, we are saying like this, okay? So if I want to represent a forward like this, or whatever you call this is a backward, right? I can do this. And then I can still have some empty cells which I can count as islands, right? That might be possible, I think. Yeah. Good one. I think this should be tried. But I think the DSU way is much better though. And
I guess there means I don't know. It's looking good by 2 cross 2 grid, but in the discussion it is showing 3 cross 3, right? And it's a top discussion, means the most votes, I guess.
Voted.
So there
Yeah.
should be a reason why there is a 3x3 grid. I don't know, but we also don't know right now. Like there can be a reason specifically for 3x3. Otherwise, he should also have made 2x2, right?
Yeah.
If first we were just simple, then we think about 2, then we think about 3. Why he thought directly to 3 is like, I don't know. So
Yeah, but I think some people
Yeah,
are saying
that's
we
true.
need to find out why it is, unless
yeah,
we are sure, you know. So, but
okay,
that's a good thing to try out.
yeah. No, we will see.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just post the solution if I find it works in a 2x2. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sure.
anyone wants to share the DSU solution, because my DSU solution is very clumsy. The union find, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone wants to share? Like, I haven't implemented.
You haven't implemented?
No, I haven't.
So in this case, well, I'll try to explain because okay. The union find way is like the way I also took the help from the discussion sessions to get to this union find, and the
Yeah.
way it was done by one of this person was like, you know, if you have a 2x2 like this, then he was actually adding one more row and one more column, right? Something like this. So my actually array size or the input size was 2. Okay. So I'm just adding n plus 1. So n plus 1 by n plus 1. And the way it is done, you take the help of the input string. And if I call that as a grid and this something like a, okay, that is only the grid. And yeah, okay. So this will be my some DSJ or some array object of that DSU or union find, and I'm passing on the length. Length will be actually this value length. Okay, so this will be my length. So when I pass on that, and then when I run through the string of grid, okay, so this is our input, right? So when I go for each and every I and j, so I is this side and j is this side, right? And for that, whenever I see a slash, okay, so the first case will be if I see a slash like this, okay, and if my I value is something like 1 and j value is 1, okay, so if I'm here, so in that case, what it's saying is I need to look for I, because I'm looking for this class, so I and j plus 1, that is one coordinate, and the second will be I plus 1 and j, right? So if I'm here, I need to look for these two locations and see if they are connected, okay? And for me, the base case will be first, actually, I'm going to have, because this is 0, 0 position, and I'm going to connect all these ones, okay, which are related to 0. Either it is a 0 related to the 0th column or 0th row. I'm going to connect them, okay, in the DSU. That would be my base thing, as well as I'm going to connect all these ones. So all of these, the border ones, they are actually connected to 0th root, as so they will make the root as a 0, the parent as a 0. So all these guys have a parent of 0. So whenever I go to this one and two of these, I find if they are connected, okay, because they are connected because they are actually connected to 0. So these two locations are connected. Then I say, okay, they are connected, and then I increment my counter or maybe the answer. And so, okay, I have an island over there. That is the way I decide on an island. And if I have a second case, like if I have...
Can I pause? I missed you there. I don't know if others are following. If they are following, then fine. Otherwise, I missed you there.
Yeah, so go ahead.
So I1, J1,
Mm-hmm.
I followed you that all the boundary cells are connected to 0, 0. I mean, 0, 0.
Zero, just 1 0.
Okay, just
Because
one.
I'm flattening the array for when I'm actually using a union find. I'm using a single array. I'm not using a 2D array.
Matrix, yeah.
Okay, I see.
Because that makes more easier, you know, because a 2D union find slightly will be more complex to implement.
I see. Okay. Okay. I don't know about that. So if there is any pointers that will help me, we can continue. Sorry, it's okay.
No, go ahead. Yeah. So what I was trying to say, you know, so whenever I can convert each and every cell of the coordinates of 2D coordinates in a single array, right? So I can just say, okay, now if my n is 3 in this case, right? 1, 2, 3. So ij is 0. So I will say I multiplied by n, which is 3 in this case, and plus j, right? So I can find a position of that in my parent array for the union find.
It's still the row measure order we are talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just taking a help of that, and then actually to actually differentiate how I can find, for a backslash and a slash, how I can find the coordinates which are connected. So because if I have, I'll go give a slightly bigger example so the things might be slightly clear. Okay, so if we have this example here, and then this is the extra row and this is the extra column that what I'm doing here. So my array is 3 by 3 now. Okay, your input array is 3 by 3. So if I have these two connected, correct? So I need to find how they are connected. So this position, this position, this position, they are all my base conditions. They are connected to the parent as 0. Correct. So they are all connected to parent 0. So when I'm looking for this position, which is 1, I'll just write the indexes 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, right? So when I'm looking for row 0 and column 1, so I'm going to look for the first case if it is like this. Okay. So my I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 1, right? So in this case, what I'm going to look for is, because this is a backslash, right? Forward slash. So I'll be looking for I 0, right? Yeah. So backslash will be, I will be first 0 first and j plus 1. So I will be 0. So the same one and the j plus 1. So j plus 1 will be in this case
2,
right?
2.
So I'm going to look for this guy here. And the second for the same one I will be looking will be I plus 1, which will be first row, and the j will remain same. Okay, I plus 1 and j. So that represents the backslash, correct? Forward slash, right? Okay, I get confused in this. So I'll see if they are connected here, right? So in this case, they are not, they are connected. Okay, these two are connected, but this guy actually is not connected to the 0th position first. Okay, first I just verify if it is connected. So I don't actually increment the count. But when I'm done with this, sorry, go ahead.
Question is, what do you mean by connected? Because there was no, that line was not there, right?
Right. So it is still not there. Okay. So assume it's not there. Okay, for now. But I'm just trying to find if it is connected earlier, previously. If it is not, I just leave it like that. But then what I do is if it is connected, I'm going to increment the counter saying my island is I found an island. Okay. But I don't see it is connected and therefore say it is not connected. Okay. So don't increase the island number. So when I go back, okay, when I go to the second cell, so again because when I'm done with this, I just connect them later. Okay, I'll show you why I'll show you in the code why I'm doing this way. Okay, when I connect this, and then I go for the second one, because still here I don't find an island. But when I go for this one, so I again take these two coordinates to these two cells, and then I try to see if they are connected. They are they actually, so this guy is actually connected to 0th position, right? So now it is already connected. So then I increment the count and also increment this one. So this is the way I find an island, because you understood, right, what I'm trying to say here. Even if this is not connected, but this point is connected to 0 now, because I did that in the previous step, and this point is already in the 0th position. So like this, they are already connected. So they are already connected this way, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I just, at the end, I say this is an island because they are already connected. And then at the end, I connect them. So this is the way the union find has been implemented in the case what I found in the discussion session.
Yeah.
It's
So-
slightly, it's a difficult to understand though, the union find way also. Even I found it took some time for me to look at this.
I'm not sure if others followed, but I couldn't. So if there is any pointers, if you could share in the thread, that will help me.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'll just show you the code. It might be slightly better to understand here in the code, but I was trying to show you the way it is written in the code. So at least looking at that now, when you come here, you might be able to understand it. So just bear with me for a minute. Okay, so this is our class. This is our functionality point. And I'm using this DSJ. This is another class, the union find class. Okay, I'll just quickly show you what this class is. Okay, so this is the class. I'm having a vector int array. Okay, so this is my parent class. And then I'm just passing a variable something, and I'm creating that vector array. Okay, and I'm just initializing each and every array with the same index. Okay, so to say that it is initialized to the parent array is initialized. And then I'm using two functions, the normal one instead of union, union find. This is the find, but this is a union. So forget about the path compression and all those things for now. So this is a simple find and this is a simple union. Okay. So we are just connecting two together. So when we come here, actually I'm instantiating the class over here, object over here, and then actually this is the base case what I was talking about. Okay, this is the first base case.
Corner one here.
Yeah. So actually I try to connect all the borders, okay, of 0, 0 and n. And if you look at the length here, you know, this array is n plus 1 by n plus 1. So I've just added one column and one row. The reason why I'm doing is because I showed you, right? Because each and every slash or backslash, I'm taking two coordinates. So for that, I need an extra row and extra column. That is the only thing why they're using it. Sorry, sir. Someone had a question here.
No, the same reason I was saying, like n plus 1 reason behind that, n plus 1 into n plus 1. Why you are adding extra 1? I got it.
Yeah. So actually it's nothing but because we are actually looking for every backslash we want to compare. We need two cells to see if they're connected. And therefore we are taking that, and therefore the reason to add only one column and one row. Unlike the DFS, I had to add more numbers, right? It was twice or thrice. So this is slightly efficient than that. And now here actually I look for the boundary cases, and then here I do nothing but I just blindly do a merge. That is a union with, if you see, this is a 0. So all of these values I'm taking, whatever the ij values, I'm merging it with 0. So all my border conditions are now connected to 0, right? So then I come here and I start iterating the array, or grid array. So when I come here, whenever I see a slash, okay. So this is the first thing what I do. First I try to find if there is a connection. Okay. So how I see this, I take I, just an I, and j is j plus 1. Because to look for the top side of this forward slash, you know, because it will be I, j plus 1, and the second coordinate will be I plus 1j, you know, because it's slanting towards the forward side, right?
So that diagram which you are showing, 2 and the next cell, right? Diagonal one which you are,
So the previous diagram.
Yeah.
Right. So just I try to find if they are connected. Okay. If they are connected, then only I increment the counter. But the first time when I did, okay, when I went for the top position of the top cell, it was not connected. So I didn't increment the counter here. Okay. But then I've merged it because anyway, I have to go through it. So I will merge them. Okay. So I'll merge those two coordinates. Okay. So now those two are connected. But next time when I come, because I'll have to again go through this array, right? So it'll go again and come back here. So next time I will look for the other two cells. Okay, the bottom two cells. And then I see, okay, they are connected because they are connected the other way from the other zeros, correct? And then I increment my counter and then say, I have found an island. And the similar thing I do for the backslash. It is exactly the same, but if you look at the coordinates, it will ij first, okay, and the other coordinate is I plus 1 and j plus 1, because it's a backward slash, right? And if we do that the same way, if you find if they are connected, then we increment the island counter. And prior to that, we have to merge it. So actually we get that whole connection. And if there is any broken line in middle or in any cell doesn't have that backslash or a forward slash, then this counter is not going to increment at all, right?
Yeah.
And therefore you are not going to get an island. In some cases, I think in one of the example, it had only one slash, right?
Yeah.
In example 2. So in that case, it will be half, wherever it left, it will just be there, but it's not going to increment the counter at all. And here, the only basic assumption of the counter is the base condition is always taking counter to be 1. So he's assuming there will always be an island of 1. Okay, but that is also true, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
I mean, if you don't have any slash, okay.
Yeah, you don't have a slash, or if you have a single cell, okay, and if you have a slash, still at least you will have one island, and the second island will be by connecting the backslash or slash.
Yeah, that second example, right? Half only you had diagonal. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's slightly not so easy to come up with the solution for sure. But even if you know union find also, to get and how to apply it for this case is slightly tricky. It was very difficult for me, but I was looking for various options of union find and trying to make sense for me, but I was really not able to understand. But I found this one to be slightly easier to understand. Though I know that it's not an easy way, but I'm trying to share what I understood.
Yeah. So the intuition here is we create a boundary, and whenever we find a slashes, and if we try, if some slashes connected to enough the boundary, then we increase the counter, right?
Yeah. So if you find the slash connecting both the boundaries together, whole of it, because you have to have the whole complete connection, then only we increase the counter.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, clever.
Yeah.
Because in that case only it will divide regions into 2, right?
Yeah.
And counter one is like we already have a whole area, and now the slash is dividing, so we get a new area. So that's okay.
One question for a person to start understanding DSU, what is the best pointer that you guys are following so that I can quickly be onboarded?
Oh, okay. So DSU is nothing but union find. Yeah, the Bhavesh YouTube video is a good one. And actually there are some other ones also, right?
Yeah.
The Stanford
NPTEL you'll find good. Stanford also you'll find.
Princeton, yeah. But union find is a very good data structure, and it could be implemented many places. And but even if you know union find, and getting a solution for this sum was very difficult for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about others, but it took a long time for me. So I went the DFS way first.
Yeah, even for me to understand DFS was much more easier and a little intuitive as compared to a union find.
Yeah. But if you look at the discussion session, people say don't go with DFS. I don't know why. And many of them were saying it is not a DFS solution at all. So it looks like that, but it is not. Maybe because of those corner cases.
I mean, in the DFS code, it is like there is no corner case, right? It's like a simple DFS.
Yeah, but we
To
have
my
to get those means we have to take more space to do that, right? So that was also
Right.
not so easy to come up with.
Yeah, I guess in the DFS it might be because space or time complexity and something like that.
space
Yeah.
implicit stack it is using, no, it might run out of stack, is around run out of memory. That's why I think, because exhaustive search we are doing there, right?
Yeah. I
No
also
such
think so.
optimization is done. But in case
Yeah.
of the way Santosh explained, no, that
Mm.
the small optimization that we are using in this
Union find. Yeah.
DSU, yeah, that saves us.
Yeah, I also think so.
Mhm. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
nice one. Like,
I
How
mean, the
will it
solution
how will
over
it run
here.
out of space?
Pardon?
Shashank, you were saying it will run out of space, run out of stack space. Can you elaborate a little?
I mean, like, see, you are hit in DFS. What you will go to the extreme bottom, right?
Right.
I mean, you'll keep on searching till the point you hit the next end point of your grid. So it might happen that I mean, you may run out of in doing that process, you may hit out of the space of the stack.
So you are saying that if there are more number of cells,
Squares,
then we
cells
actually multiply
might
by
go
3. So it might be a big array size. Yeah, but the only
exactly.
good thing about this problem, they are saying the length of the array and the string will be 30.
Yeah, here they are limiting, but for
Yeah, they are
generic
limiting.
problem, like, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right, right. That makes sense, absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
Yeah.
Like, made more things clear. Yeah.
No, but if you look at the solution, what they have explained in lead code, so they are
Yeah.
not using this one. They are using slightly different approach of the north, south, and east, west, and all those unions. All right. So that was very
All the
difficult for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how they come up with such like intuitive ideas from directly.
Yeah, I think they might be doing competitive programming from like past 8-9 years, I guess. Because
Yeah.
if they are solving lot of problems every day, then only I think they can think of. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Like we people
Yeah.
can't think
Even
without
we,
looking anything. It's very difficult. I don't think. And
So
this
if
even
you
going through the
question,
look at
solution
the
is
yeah.
yeah, this question may not be asked in an interview, I guess, because this is little bit like weird, I guess. Means it's a good one, but I don't think it will be asked in an interview, and they expect us to do this in within a time limit and some stuff like that. That question, the previous question.
Oh,
I don't
who
know,
has
but
asked it? It's you.
huh?
Someone said.
Yeah,
Someone
it
is
may be
saying.
asked in some company, of course. It has been, but I don't know. But I just thought that it's difficult to, yeah.
So if you see the lead code, guys, when you have a Saturday session, and even if you start attending and start participating in it, before even
one.
you could finish a single problem, you see many of them have completed all the 4. There are guys who complete that, and you see the rankings ahead of that before even you complete yours. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I just yesterday only I saw this SDE skills. I didn't know about this platform and all stuff. So the all you are trainer or something like that. I don't know. I just wanted to ask you people. Like anyone is trainer here or something like that?
No, no.
No, it's a
No, this
voluntary
is
driven
not a this is a
organization.
voluntary platform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there may be one trainer who will be teaching and stuff like that.
No. Maybe
Because I looked.
tomorrow you can lead the
Yeah.
session.
Oh, it depends on us, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We decide
Oh.
ourselves.
So we have organizers also. They organize everything, and there are experts also. Some of them who can actually give us some guidance. That is
So
also
the experts come in these live sessions sometimes?
Yeah, they are like maybe they are not. They are busy right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes Gaurav comes in. He actually chimes in to explain something. That is what we were discussing in the chat. Like we should have those things. So he actually
Yeah.
insisted, why don't you have a whiteboard session?
Oh.
So that helps a lot. So yeah.
So sometimes trainers also comes, right? In this lead
It's
code.
not
No,
trainer.
not trainer. These
They are
are
like
the
us only,
guys
guys,
like
but
us.
they have more understanding. Yeah.
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 Trainers means maybe they are working in some big tech company. That's what I feel. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
initiative to discuss.
Most of the people are here working actually.
Actually, I recently graduated from, like, I am here in US right now, so I recently graduated from Stevens. So yeah, I'm just you can say just a fresher.
No problem. So anyway, welcome to
problem.
SD Skills. And
Yeah, thank
if
you.
you attend one of the
Want to?
sessions on Saturday,
Yeah,
so
sure.
that is the main session which happens on 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that
Sure.
was the beginning. What we started with in person, then we
Yeah.
moved to online because of this COVID-19.
Yeah.
And that was a very good thing attending on. Are you
Yeah,
in Seattle
surely I will
area?
attend.
Are you in Seattle area or?
No. I am actually in New York, New Jersey.
Okay, so you can do it this online.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I will do it online
Sure.
only. That's why. Yeah, I thought this is a very good initiative, like to discuss, because it feels like we are getting a lot of concepts learning from everyone, right?
Yeah, it's a collaborative learning, and
Yeah.
this initiative has been done for about 8 to 9 years, I would say. So yeah,
Wow.
it's very long time. Yeah.
Actually, I was doing some code and I was searching for some problem because I was not able to understand, and then I found this SD skills.
Yeah.
So
then,
there is a YouTube channel SD Skills where
yeah.
we upload all the videos.
Yeah. I got that also. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think we have a GitHub repo also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is for Saturday afternoon session only, where we post, someone lead that and they post the 3 questions what they want to discuss, 3 or 4 questions.
Don't we post the daily code also somewhere?
Yeah, we do actually, but it happens over the weekend because they pick up all the bulk and then they do that. So
And we do online session for this lead code challenge, which is like coming in the June also. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
It's only for this one.
This one. Okay, that's good. That's good.
We have a different channel for it where we discuss the ongoing lead code challenge, like the monthly challenge.
Yeah, you have to join the Slack channel.
Slack,
yeah.
I got that. I joined that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Start with.
Yeah. So your next turn would be you'd be the volunteer from next one. Yeah, you can take if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because why Shashank is saying that, the reason, Siddharth, I also, and many of us, if you start presenting, you start preparing more, and then you understand the problem more.
Yeah.
We actually encourage,
Yeah, we will alternatively, everyone can present. Yeah, I was just like yesterday only I just saw, so I was like, no.
Absolutely, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, in the future I will surely.
Sure.
It's a good platform, like Thank you.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, we can start now.
Yeah.
Complete. We need to count the complete tree node. A complete binary tree is given. You need to count the number of nodes, and this is the definition they have given according to Wiki. In a complete binary tree level, except the last is completely filled, and all the nodes in the last are as far as possible. It can have between 1 and 2 to the power h nodes, inclusive at the last level h. So I think it's. So you can see, I mean, it's pretty intuitive, like number of nodes that you have to just get out of it till the height edge. So which is 6. Yeah. So any queries here?
Sorry, I couldn't follow.
Yeah. I mean, your last level is like you won't be completely filled. I mean, the definition of complete binary tree they have given is not all. Otherwise, all the nodes will be filled and will be as far as possible. So this is the tree that you have, and why it's going like up. Sorry.
So it's only the left side is complete.
Empty.
Yeah. Right side might be or might not be empty, but left side you will have some value.
In the last level only, right?
Yeah, only.
Yeah. Yeah. So how to proceed?
So this problem is not even medium; it's easy, right?
Actually, it's not. it's easy only, but I think there is a trick. Means if you just follow count the number of nodes, there is recursion as well as BFS, right? Recursion is like 1 plus number of nodes in left subtree plus number of nodes in right subtree. And similarly for BFS also we can follow queue, and for every level we can count the number of nodes, right? And we can sum it up, and then we can return that. But we have to think about this case like it's a complete binary tree. How we can reduce the recursive calls, or how we can reduce some space or some time complexity, because it's a special case of it's a complete binary tree, right? In the last level, the nodes are not. It's not necessary that the nodes are fully filled, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean is we can think about like we can normally what we do is BFS and DFS, right? But still it's a special case, so we can think how we can reduce the time complexity. Like what I'm thinking is, you people
So let's do it's a very good point. Maybe we see that. Can you just hold this question for some later?
Sure.
But let us do the basic thing first.
Yeah.
Then we move to
then
the
we will
optimization part.
Right. Yeah. So how to proceed? Like.
Yeah, whoever has a solution can first actually present it.
I can just, because I have not solved this because I was just saw it yesterday only in the night. So I can tell you the approach. Can I tell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So what we can do is we know that, see, there is root, there is left part, and there is right part, right? So we can just use basic DFS. How we can use is we know the root is definitely, if root is not equal to null, then it is absolutely one node will be there, right? 1 plus we can recursively call the function on the left part plus recursively call the part on right part, and we can add it. Means 1 plus number of whatever is the function name, like suppose count nodes, root of left plus count nodes, root of right plus 1.
Okay.
This is one DFS approach. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one is the DFS, which is a very easy approach, like the most basic. And another one is BFS. I guess many of you have used, like each time you make a queue and you pop that item format and append whether it has a left and right child. And in each level, you count the number of nodes using queue and then return it, right? Yeah. Now you people can,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Really basic idea. Do like any order, like pre-order, post, in order, and have a counter, global counter, and how many loops you're doing, you're just counting the nodes.
Yeah, that also traversal. Any traversal will work.
Traversal loop have a global variable count. Whenever you visiting a node, just increment the counting. That's it. That is the most basic approach, and the complexity would be order of n. Like we are visiting all the nodes.
All the nodes. So is there any like smart way? Like, I mean, these are all like trivial only, like BFS, DFS. So anything like that, something smartly that we can do over here.
Yeah, I'm thinking of something.
Actually, so I thought of it's a complete binary tree. So maximum we can have the complete binary tree can have 2 power height plus 1 minus 1 nodes.
Okay.
We need to find the height. So it's a CBT. So if we go complete left, then we can find the height of the tree that way. And then then we need to find out how many nodes are missing in the last level. So for that, what I thought was I'll try DFS kind of thing, but I go to complete right. And if I can't reach the height which I want, then I take a counter and so on. I go to the left of that, and if not to the left and move on like that until I find the first node at that height, and get that from the total number of nodes possible. That would be the count.
Sorry, I lost it. So I was able to follow that. Yes, we can simply go while left and count to get the height. So that is understood. And we need, the next step is to find out at the last level how many are there.
No.
How many are there?
How many are
Because
missing?
from there we can simply say 2 to the power h minus 1 plus whatever is there, whatever is at this level. That is the total number of this thing, right?
One
So,
thing
I'm exactly.
Yeah, one thing I'm thinking of is like there's two ways I'm thinking of this, right? Suppose if we can find the height of left subtree and right subtree, right?
Okay.
By just going left, 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 something like that.
DFS.
And
Yeah.
DFS. And we if the height of left and right are same, right? Then we know that in the complete binary tree, the number of nodes are 2 ki power h, something like that, right? So we can return that. If not, then we follow the recursion. The what I said, else 1 plus count of nodes root of left plus count of nodes root of right. Because if we know the height, then we can return directly what is the formula for that.
But we're not actually technically finding the height. We are just finding how much left I can go.
Yeah.
So if finding a height is a different, I think, approach. But if you start finding height, it could be like it won't be you only going left. You can also go right. But here it mentions a complete binary tree. You always fill from left to right. So just going left can give me.
Yeah.
For example, in this what Shashank was showing, if I'm at 1. So if I take what is the height from my left and what is the height from my right, so basically both will return me 2. So that means my left from both the sides, they are same. That means something might be missing from 3 sides. But I'm very much sure like 2, 4, 5 would be complete. Then only has to go towards 3 and again do the same approach.
Yeah, I actually got one approach right now. Like I'm thinking of it, and I think it's gonna work. Can I tell?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, see, we know that in the last level the nodes will be from left to right only, right? So what we can do is we can find the height of left subtree and right subtree by just using a function 1 plus count of nodes root of left. Means we will go on like on the right side also we will go only left side, because we know that on the last level also the nodes are filled from left to right. So if a node is present in the right side, it should be on the left side only, right? It means the first what I say, like to calculate height, we just need to go to the left part, right?
Because maximum will be there, or equal to or maximum. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, because like in this example, there is in the input which we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, if we go in the right side, then there will be no element. But if we go left side only, we can see there is 6, right? So we can compare the heights of the left and right subtree, right? We can calculate left and right subtree. If both are equal, then it means that 1 second.
All nodes are present.
Yeah, then it means that left subtree is a complete, means it contains all the nodes proper. It's not like left to right only. It's left to right, but it's complete, means all the nodes have 2 children. So there is a formula for that, 2 ki power left of height, right? And we can just go if the left and right are equal, right? Then we just need to recursively call on the right part, because on the left part we know it's a complete thing.
Yeah.
And there can be one case where left height is greater than right height. You understand, right? Because on the last level there can be nodes from left to right only. Suppose in the right subtree there is no nodes, only in the left part there is nodes. I don't know if everyone is following me.
Can you draw it on a whiteboard so that will be slightly clear?
1 second. I need to 1 second.
Yeah, online board is a sketch pad.
What?
Shashank, you'll have to.
Okay.
1 second. What you are saying? There is sketch.io sketchpad. This one?
Yeah, just sketchpad you type, you'll get.
Okay, 1 second. I can. Okay, 1 second. I will try one thing. Share screen. Is this right? Now
Yes,
you are
yes,
able
yes.
to see?
Yeah.
Oh, I will
Yeah.
try. I have not used this, but I will try.
Yeah. You change this. You click on that leaf. That leaf portion
This?
is no, below that. Click on that. Take the pencil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there can be only two possibilities. Either left subtree is equal to right subtree, or left subtree is greater than right subtree. Right? Like in this case,
Yeah.
left subtree is greater than right subtree. Height.
Yeah.
Because it is filled from left to right. So there is a possibility on the right subtree there are no nodes, right? There is no nodes. Right? So if the left subtree is greater than right subtree, then we definitely know that right subtree is the complete. Means it contains all the nodes properly. Because in the left part, this node which you are seeing, this might not be present. So it might not be means fully complete binary tree. Means it contains all the nodes, right? Means if this node is not present, suppose this node is not present, because it can be left from left to right. So this binary tree, this left part is not fully complete, right? Because it doesn't contain the right part. You got my point?
Yeah.
But on the left part, it is complete because it is the leaf node only, right? So,
Yeah.
so what I mean is we can just, there is a formula 2 ki power h. 2 ki power h. So we can, I told you like we can calculate the height of left subtree and right subtree by just going to left part, right? We can calculate the height of the left part as well as the right part, right?
To get the entire height of tree.
To get the height of only the left subtree and the right subtree. To
What
get
do
the
you
height
do?
of left subtree, I just go to the left, right?
Okay.
And for the right also, I just go to the left. Means in this right, I just go to left. Here, for this node, I go left. But suppose there is one more node. And it can be like, it can't be like this, right? It can't be like this because it has to be left to right. In this case, it has to be from left to right. So what I'm saying is just go to the left part every time. For this part, this subtree also, just go to the left part. And for this, whatever is the subtree, just go to left part to calculate the height of this.
Yeah, but in this case,
Yeah.
one thing might be a problem, Yeah, it's not a problem, but
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
we
it's
have
a little complicated. I'm just thinking right now only. So
yeah, that's okay. But the only thing is, if we have the biggest height on the last level, if we have a single node, then you will have to do for all, right? Almost.
One second. Where is the eraser here?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
On the pencil itself.
Okay.
Eraser will be there below.
Yeah.
Better get a new page.
One second. Okay.
Here you click on plus sign.
One second, pen I am
No.
using. 1 second. What he's saying is like this, I guess.
No, actually, even the last.
Suppose you are saying in the right part, there is one more node, right?
No, what
Something
I'm trying
like-
to say is on your last level, you have a single node.
Okay. So single
left
node.
node. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this node, right? If you mean only this node will be present,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And not all these nodes.
Right.
Yeah.
So in your case, what you will do is you will first go to that node. You'll
First,
find
what I will calculate is this height of this
Right.
subtree, right?
Yeah,
This subtree.
Yeah, but
This
then
subtree.
you are
And-
going to the right side, right?
Yeah.
But
Right
then,
side is this part. And this node is not present. This node is not present, as you said, because there is only one node, as you said, in the
Correct.
last level, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, the height will be only one, right? This one, this node is only present. So this will be the only the height.
Correct.
Right. So.
But then you'll have to come and still find each and every right side where it is ending. Correct.
See, we have to always calculate the left and right subtree height, because
at each level or just at the root?
No. On the left, like for the root, there is left part and there is right part. So I'm saying that we have to calculate the left height subtree as well as right height subtree, and we compare the heights, because there is a property, some property in the because it's a complete binary tree, right?
No, question is that we have to get this height for at each level or just the root level of the tree?
Question is, we need to find all the counts. We have to count each and every
number
node.
of nodes.
You are asking about the question. Yeah, we have to count the number of nodes. How many nodes are present in a complete binary tree? So in complete binary tree, only thing is it's a little bit special case. Like all the nodes will be from left to right only. It might not be fully complete, because except the last level, every node is fully complete, but the last level is not fully complete. So what my idea was to calculate the left height subtree as well as right height subtree, and then compare the heights. Like if they are equal, one case can be that left height subtree and right height subtree can be equal. One case can be the left height subtree is greater than right subtree. But it cannot be case, if you think like that, it cannot be case like right subtree is greater than left subtree, right? Because on the last level, the nodes are filled from left to right.
Yeah, that is agreed. What you're saying is correct.
Yeah.
But still the problem says we need to find all the counts. So for that you'll a place on the last level where your nodes are ending, correct?
If I understand correctly, so even with your approach in worst case, so you will have to
time space complexity I guess will be the same, but we can little bit optimize, just by comparing the height.
So how much time will you?
It will be better in this case.
Yeah.
How much time it will be?
That's what I'm thinking.
OFN.
OFN, yeah, it will be OFN.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah. Like,
actually, I think it will be less than that. Because
Siddharth, if you try to find the height, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So I was telling Siddharth, if you try this approach, if you're trying to say that the left subtree and right subtree have the only root, then that won't work. I think so. You need to try.
No, it's a recursion, right? Left subtree and right subtree.
If you try an example of more levels, then your solution won't give a correct answer. Like if you try more levels for the left subtree.
Yeah, he's saying, if it's a very complex tree, it's many levels, then we still have to, in a worst case, we'll have to go through each and every node.
Yeah. We have to go. In this case also, I guess we have to, because recursion, in the recursion, you have to count the height of every tree, right? Every node. Because it's a recursive call. So time complexity and space complexity, I guess it will be the same. But I think we can little bit optimize because we know in the case, I'm just thinking right now only, because we know that in the complete binary tree, there is a property to keep our edge, something like that. Right?
That might be one way to do
what I will
Absolutely
do is, because I have not written the code of this, what I can do is I can write the code and then share on Slack. And then
please, do that. That will be helpful. Sure.
Yeah. But right now,
I think Asim has some optimized solution, so I think he would.
There will be some way to optimize. Has anyone looked at the solution for official LeetCode solution?
Well, actually, let Asim actually see that. He is going to talk something about the optimized one. Asim, go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you just stop sharing it?
Yeah, just one second.
So here height will always be log n because it is a complete binary tree, right? It will be a balanced one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah,
it's already visible.
So basically, what Siddharth was telling, this is on the similar line.
Yeah, that's what comparing the left.
So
and right.
basically, the trick is we already know that we can go and count all the nodes using any traversal from here, here, here. So that would be order of n. I think that won't be like we should be going towards this solution if interviews is really asking like, okay, can you do more better? Can you do more better in terms? Otherwise, I think the first solution should be that let's count the code nodes. Now, how this solution is different is, so what we are doing here is we are going towards left, and from right also we are going towards left. If you see this, so although it is telling get depth, but it is only going towards left. Otherwise, if we do like a regular get depth or get height function, we have to go towards left and right. But we know this tree gets filled from left to right. So either way, always I would have some left. It can't be something like I would have a right and right, but there's no left. Is that clear till now?
Yes. That's the same approach which I was trying to understand. Yeah, cool.
So Santosh, anyone
Yeah,
has question till now?
Yeah, it's correct.
No, not clear. Can you please repeat again?
Sure. So what I'm telling, we just need to take, because this is a complete binary tree, we always fill from left to right. So let's take this thing. So there won't be any case like I will keep on filling like this. This is not a complete binary tree.
Correct. That is clear.
Yeah, so if I want to take the depth, I can take this height. I have to go to left, or I will go left, like this. That will give me how much nodes are on this side and how much is the depth on this side. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So if both are on the same, if both give me the same depth, that means this guy is already full tree kind of thing. I don't.
Yeah.
Then I use some mathematical formula to just count the nodes. I don't need to go this side. So that means I only have to go this side. But let's say this node was not there and these are not there. Then they have a
different height.
Differ in their height. So that means this guy is 100% complete.
Yeah.
Like a full tree kind of thing. But there could be some issues like here.
Yeah.
This is missing here. So we would repeat the same process this side. Is that clear, Shashank, Santosh, Rajan?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Just the last one that you mentioned, how are we handling that?
Yes, we'll come to that. But right now, are we clear when there is a difference in depth? That means this guy is fully there. But if their height is same, but that means this. So if that is clear, then we can go further.
Yeah, that's clear.
That's clear, yeah.
No, I think Rajendra has a question, so let's resolve that first.
Yeah.
No. Actually, what I was saying is, on the last line, if there were only 3 nodes.
Where?
3 nodes.
Here.
Or only 1 node also. Yeah.
Yes,
no,
he's saying that remove bottom right two most low.
Rightmost 2. Rightmost 2.
Shashank, where is the eraser? I couldn't.
Yeah, click on the pencil. Eraser will be there. Last top, bottom.
Bottom, eraser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Eraser is.
It's an American flag.
And what is saying that add one node here.
Here?
Exactly. Yes. In this case, how are we proceeding?
Good question. So what is the height difference here? Here it would, so still here the height will give me 3. From here it will give me 2, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I can still say like this guy is, I don't have to go this side. This guy will be totally perfect. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that means I will go here. Again, I will do the same procedure. Now the height will come from this side is 2. And again, this side it will come 2. Correct?
Right.
So I can say like, now their height is same. that means this time I can say this guy is totally perfect.
Yes, yes, cool.
Right.
Now I have to go this side. Now when I go this side, it will give me 1 from here and 0 from here. I can say this side is like, again, there is a difference. I can say this side is perfect and I have to go this side. And then when I'll go here and then I'll kind of done with this. So
Okay.
basically we have to go when there's a, when the height is same, that means left side is totally good. When there's a difference, that means the right side is totally good.
So at the root level, you have height, right height is 3 and left height is 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it again.
So what does it signify? Like,
See, okay.
It is giving some optimization. That is what it's trying to say.
okay.
So basically, if you see, this is a complete tree. We have to fill left to right. So basically, if it says me 3 and it says me 2, that means this will be totally perfect. Otherwise, this can't give me 2. There could not be any node like this if it gives me 3. If it has to give me 3, it has to fill from left to right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can't give me 3. The only way it can give me 3 is when something is here and something is missing here. But if it is giving me 2, that means this would be like a full tree. It can't have something like left is missing or right is left is there but right is not there. So basically we can apply a formula and say like how many nodes are on this side. So I don't need to bother going this side.
Yeah, makes sense.
But if there is a node this side, that means they have a same height. So the difference of nodes would be only this side, but could not be on this side. So I can apply the mathematical formula this side and only worry about this guy.
Very good observation. How did you get it?
Nice.
Oh no, I didn't get it, Rajendra.
Really, should I tell you? Actually, I need some push for this to arrive at this, but I can clearly see the predictable and conditionally how when the things are different, then the right is a complete binary tree. So basically, just by counting the height, basically computing h, we can derive. We can using this logic, we can conclude that if it is a complete binary tree, it will have 2 to the power h plus 1 minus 1. That many nodes. We don't have to even count. We can simply conclude that it has that many nodes.
Right. Yes. So that was the trick here. So if we know which side is kind of a full tree, that means I just need to apply that formula.
Yes, I guess the good part about this is we go recursion to find depth of each subtree. But while we are counting the number of nodes, we have to apply recursion on only one part. And on the other part, we can apply the formula.
See, the thing is, even while doing the depth, we are not doing order of n. We are doing log n because we are only going only one side.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If I could have done something like so, if you know about this how to calculate the height of the tree, generally what we do is sorry.
1 plus max of left.
We do something I've pressed. I can't. Okay.
But anyways, here the height will always be log n only because this is a complete binary.
Right? What I was trying to say was generally how we do is we do max of we go left and then we do kind of get depth node dot general calculation of height. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because the attempt tree could be anything. It could be skewed on the right side. It could be skewed on the left side. We don't know. But here we know it will be only from left to right. So I can only try with this left and get the height. So that this makes the thing is log n. Log of height, I will say.
Yeah.
So that is making a differentiation. Again, when we are going on the other side, like we are only going again here it would
One
be like
side.
yeah.
So the time complexity, I guess, it will be log n into log n, something like that.
Log n.
Because to calculate height, we use log n, and when we count the number of nodes, we are going to only one side. So it
Yes.
will be log n into log n, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. This is the approach which you probably told us. I was also thinking about this only, but I was not able to explain it properly. Yeah, but the
Oh,
same.
that's fine.
The great solution.
So if everybody is clear, otherwise if there is question, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, I just post this one in the Slack also, so we can get the solution.
Okay.
Question about the formula. I think the formula needs a little adjustment there, right? Because suppose a height, so suppose think about 2, 4, 5 on the left, and that is a complete binary tree already. So when we are saying that 2, 4, 5 is complete, and because we are taking into account the root, which is 1, so it will be 4.
Yes.
When we are at
used
2,
anything here because it will also take its root into account. That's it.
correct. When we are saying the left subtree, which is 2, 4, 5, its height will be 2 or 1.
Here it will return 2.
You are returning 2 for that height? 2, 4, 5?
Return 2 here. From here also it will return 2, and here it will calculate. It will count that as 4.
Okay, if it returns 2 for 2, 4, 5, I thought it would return 1. If it returns 2, that is correct.
Yeah, because if you see when the node is null, we are returning 0 and adding 1. So basically it will return 2 from here. When it goes to depth.
Yeah, correct.
So it will return 4 from here, and then once it goes on the right side, that side it will return somewhere 2 from here.
So in this case, as we said that on the left side we get height as 2, right? So we followed, I guess, 2 की power 2 means 4, something like that.
Yeah, so I followed to the power 2, 4.
Yeah.
And I haven't reduced anything from here.
Yeah. So 1 second, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it automatically the root also counts in that formula, right?
The left, yeah.
The root also. Otherwise, like Rajendra mentioned, we have to apply the same formula. I think to raise the power.
Yeah.
1 plus 1, something like that.
Yeah, plus 1 we have to add otherwise, but we don't need it. This formula also includes the root as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. And the root right part we use recursion to do that.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Depends which side we want to go. If they have a same depth, then we have to go right. If the depth is different, then right was already good.
Left we have to go.
And then we have to go. But this thing I have not tried myself. This is like...
that's fine. We have to look at the discussions and all. But this is we will learn only by solving many problems. Then only we can think, right? Yeah, but it's good solution.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
But you usually have that other way of doing it, right? You use a space solution. You just modify the pointers and come up with some solution, right?
Yeah, but I guess that complexity will be little bit more because in this case we are only going to left side, right? And also while counting the nodes, we are going only to one side. We are not going to both sides. In the recursion and the normal solutions, we go both sides, right? To calculate the nodes. But in this case, see
the problem to half, that's why it is log n.
Yeah.
It's like binary search, you can say. Like we are going only
Divide
to
and
one
conquer.
side.
Yeah.
See, if I get this in interview, I will start with the counting each node until the interviewer asks me to think different.
Yeah, but the question is this question is made medium because of this concept only. Because I understand that first we will say to the interview the logic, the normal logic.
But if we say there is some trick you need to, if you can still optimize because this is a complete binary tree, then we have to think about this logic. Yeah.
What is the runtime complexity of this approach?
So
I
this
guess
will
it's order of log n square.
Yeah, log n into
Log n.
log n. Because everywhere we are counting this, substantially it will reduce because every level we are not doing log n, but at high level we can say log n into log n. Because counting this is log n, and then we are going in either left or right. Again, it will count. So basically, this is log n, and it is being called whenever we are going either left or right.
Yep.
So line number 36, when you go return 1 plus max, so what do you do? Like, what is this max function?
No, there is no max actually.
There is no max
just
minus. Oh, I was explaining calculating the height of the tree. That time I
Then
just
you're only going on the left side of the tree, right? When you
because this is a complete tree. The nodes are always from left to right. So there will be always left. So that is a guarantee. The left is always there. Then only the right will be there.
So if you find the if you find depth of 4 and depth of 6 is equal, so you go left in, so line number 21, we go into line number 22.
Yes, because if they are same, that means this is like a full tree on this side. I don't need to bother about this. I need to only bother about this where there could be the difference in the levels, which is right side.
Got it. So then you're doing math.power plus count, right? And why do we do like math.power left?
Oh, that is not, that is just left depth, you can say. That is just a mathematical formula to find number of nodes.
No, line number 22, you do math.power, right?
Yes, so for a tree, like if it is a full tree, how many nodes will be there?
Yeah,
There's
full tree, but that's
2
right.
raised to the power h, I think -1 + 1, something like that.
Yeah, -1.
This
It's
is
just a formula. It's not.
It is just a modified version of formula. That's it. Does that make sense? You have questions?
And then you go into right side of the tree and call it recursively.
Yes, because if let's say there was no 6, or let's say this way, there is no this node. So that means the height came 2 here, height came 3. So if you see this side, this is full tree kind of thing. There could not be any variation. So I can directly count this and go towards my left. Sorry, there could be something like this. So which I need to find out. So this is that situation. We will go left, but we know my right is good. It's tricky, I know. Sorry, but
no, it's beautiful. It's beautifully implemented. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's what we should share some tips and tricks.
Yeah. Actually, every question on LeetCode has like at least medium on hard, or what we can say. At least some has some trick in this. Trick means there's some optimization everywhere in every problem. So you have to solve many problems. It's not like you can think of everyone on your own. It's like you have to solve. If you get some question related to that or little bit modified, then you can think about it. So that's the case, I guess.
Yeah.
Or one approach you can do, like while going through DFS, you just number each of the nodes, okay? And the moment you reach the last level, just do a binary search to get the last node missing, and that will give you the total number of nodes in the tree. Like I visited 1, I'll give 1, visited 2, 2, then 3 I'll give, and so on. Then when I reach last level, I'll just find the number which I'm missing. That I'll use binary search for it because all the numbers will be sorted. And when I find that number will give you the total number of nodes in that tree. And height will always be log n only because it's a complete binary tree, and log n to do the binary search to log n square.
But last level, you mean sorted? Does it mean?
Sorted. See, every time you are giving, when you visit node at level 1, you give a number 1, right?
Yeah.
Again, you will go, then 2 will get number 2, 3 will get 3, then 4 will get 4, 5, and so last level will be sorted, and just do the binary search to get.
Okay. You mean the index will be sorted? Whatever the number we count.
Yeah. So whatever last index is missing, that means that is the last, that is the total number of nodes in your
Yeah. I guess that's good logic.
It's in the discussion section as well.
Oh, I guess this is, I'm seeing it. This is in the solution also, but it's a good approach. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
They're indexing each of them and just carrying out the binary search on the last existing nodes on the last level.
Oh, that's cool.
So every height they are giving number 1, 2, 3. At the last level, they are checking which node they are missing.
Oh, and the missing one is the total number of nodes, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So what is the complexity of this? So basically,
log n square only.
Log n square only.
Same as yours.
So basically, we are going towards one side, finding all the
left what comes. Yeah.
That's a good approach.
Yeah. It's the same like just a small thing.
Just
on
the last level we do binary search.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's again out of box thinking until and unless we see.
Yeah. But yes, we can only learn by finding discussion. Sharing and discussion. Yeah, it's a good thing. We can't always think of our own. So that's good. That's good.
So shall we stop the recording?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow.